This video will explore and introduce how to solve linear equations. So first things first, we must define what an equation is. And an equation is when a term or an expression is equal to some value. So let's take, for example, 3x equal to 9. This is an equation. And what you need to remember is that this equal sign basically divides or splits the equation into two. You've got the left hand side here and you've got the right hand side here. And what you need to remember in algebra and going forward is that on the left hand side of the equals, you will always have your letters or your variables. And on the right hand side, you will always have your numbers or constants. So there we have it. Letters on the left of the equal sign, numbers or constants on the right of the equal sign. Now another fundamental rule when you're solving linear equations is that whatever you do to the left hand side, you must apply it to the right hand side. You must treat them as equals. So let's take this illustration here for example. In the first one we've got, 3 of an x, and we don't know what x is a variable, we don't know what it is the same as 9 kgs, let's say. If we take away one x, we must remove 3 of the 9 kgs. And same over here, if we're removing another x, we must remove another row or another 3 kgs. So when we're left with it, we can see that 1x is equal to 3 kgs. Well, if 3 times 3 gives me 9, that's correct. But without drawing this illustration, how would we solve this? Because in an exam, you're not going to draw this every time. So let's look at that now. So in keeping with our rule of letters to the left, numbers to the right, we know that our equation is correct based on that because our letters here, our variables, are on the left and our numbers are on the right. So now let's look at how we would solve 3x equal to 9 without having to draw or illustrate it. So we write the equation 3x equal to 9. And every time you have a number beside a variable, so the coefficient beside the variable, you simply divide by that number on both sides. Because remember, whatever you do to the left, you must do to the right. So in that case, we're dividing by 3. 3 divided by 3 will always leave you with just x or 1x. And that is equal to, 9 divided by 3, we all know, is 3. So x equals 3. That means that the value for x is 3. Let's solve for x in each of the following equations. So let's apply our rule of we divide by the number that's in front of the x. So the number in front of the x in the first one is 2, so I'm dividing both sides by 2. And when I do that, I'm simply left with x equal to, 12 divided by 2 is 6. And if we look at 3x equal to 18, I divide by the number in front of the x, so I'm dividing both sides by 3. 3 divided by 3 will always cancel to leave me with x or 1. And that's equal to, 18 divided by 3 is 6, because 6 3s are 18. Now let's look at the last one. It's a little bit different. Our letters aren't on the left this time and our numbers aren't on the right. So what we could do is, we could swap them back over, or we could just simply solve them the way they are. We're still dividing by 20 because you always divide by the number in front of the x or the variable. So 60 divided by 20 is 3, and then we have that equal to x. So in each case we have, x is equal to 6 here, x is also equal to 6 here, and x is equal to 3. So remember, you always divide by the number in front of your variable. Okay, it's over to you now. Complete these as part of your learn and check for today.